Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Wallace, and welcome to the Calmsie Podcast for parents. Because it's not always easy to be a parent, and sometimes you just need some help. So we discuss important topics for your child's mental health, and I'll give you practical tips based on what we use in the clinics that you can use at home to help your child learn the valuable skills that are necessary to successfully cope with challenging emotions or uncomfortable situations. This is important because without your guidance, your child may adopt ways to cope that aren't always helpful or healthy over time. For example, I have a couple of nephews. Let's call them Liam and Noel. When Noel was young and he was feeling stressed, he would get really agitated and not fully understand what this feeling of anxiety was. As a result, his natural way to cope with this feeling was just to get really aggressive. Well, Liam, on the other hand, would just shut down completely. Now, neither one of these is a great way to handle stress, and luckily their parents were aware of this and helped both of them learn the right tools and the right way to understand how their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors interact. If you're new to the podcast, I'm a physician, neuroscientist, and Chief Medical Officer at Calmsie Therapeutics, where we're creating an engaging platform to support children's mental health. This is a new and exciting way to give children access to high-quality care and deliver that care in a way that children find fun and engaging so they enjoy returning back to it. And in this series, I share with you some of the core psychological concepts that we use in our therapeutic games on that platform. In our last episode, I discussed several questions that you can ask your child to start a dialogue and get them thinking about how different emotions affect them. These questions are based on a cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, framework that we use in a clinical setting and can be used as a practical way to help your child identify and understand certain uncomfortable emotions like depression, anger, and even grief. But we used stress as an example throughout the podcast last week, and I mentioned that this week we'll discuss an exercise you can do with your child to help them to better deal with stressful emotions when they're feeling overwhelmed. It's called mindful breathing, and if you're not familiar with the concept of mindfulness, then just stick around as this may help you to better deal with your own stress and anxiety. In fact, I use it and find it extremely helpful, as it helps me to disconnect from the emotion and just take some deep breaths to de-escalate those feelings, and then I can decide how I want to proceed. I call it the 4 Ds: disconnect, deep breaths, de-escalate, and then decide. Mindful breathing exercises are an important tool for any child to learn to help them manage their feelings of stress or anxiety and do just that, the 4 Ds. Once again, disconnect, deep breaths, de-escalate, and decide. Teaching your child the basics of mindful breathing helps them to slow down their thought process when they're feeling anxious, because those thoughts tend to spiral at times. But when you do mindful breathing, they can become more present in the moment. By focusing on their breathing and counting each breath in and out, a child can create space between themselves and their anxious thoughts. And this helps them to calm their mind and their body, and it gives them a sense of control in situations where they may be feeling a bit overwhelmed. Now imagine the benefits that your child could get by just simply recognizing, oh wait, I'm feeling a little stressed right now, so let me just take a step back and focus on my breathing, and I'll take a pause before I continue. And then they go back to being the perfect little angels that they've always been. Well, it's not always that simple, but it does help them to recognize their own emotions and how to regulate them, which is an invaluable skill that can help your child stay grounded and focused no matter what life throws their way. As I mentioned in our first podcast, kids experience stress and anxiety in many different ways. Sometimes it can be difficult for them to identify and communicate their feelings. The physical symptoms of anxiety can include a racing heartbeat, sweaty palms, tense muscles, or a feeling of tightness in the chest. Maybe their stomach starts to hurt. Now, the mental symptoms of anxiety can include worry, fear, and negative thoughts. And a child may also experience a general feeling of uneasiness or dread, as if something really bad is about to happen. Well, it's important to help a child recognize these feelings and learn that this is okay, this is natural, so that they can find better ways to cope with these feelings. Now, if you need help talking with your child about this, check out podcast number 1 in this series. So, when a child is feeling stressed or anxious, as I said, it can actually manifest in a variety of different ways. They can be seen rocking back and forth, pacing, or getting easily frustrated. Now, these behaviors may be concerning to you as a parent, but it's important to understand that in many cases, this can be a normal response to the overwhelming emotions that your child may be feeling. But mindful or focused breathing exercises can help to calm their mind and body. And they're a great way to provide your child with an outlet for those difficult emotions. So it's important to emphasize that mindful or focused breathing exercises can really help your child to calm their mind and relax. Focused breathing helps your child to slow down and take a few moments to observe their thoughts and feelings in what's called a non-judgmental way. So basically that means that you think, okay, I'm having an anxious thought, but that's what it is. It's just a thought. And when they understand this, they can shift their thoughts and focus on something else. So mindful breathing is a great way to practice self-care and give your son or daughter a sense of control over their anxious feelings. Mindful breathing exercises are a great way to help your child take a pause and really gain some perspective when they're feeling anxious. One exercise you can do is to have your child sit or lie down in a comfortable position and focus on their breathing. Encourage them to take just a few deep breaths and count to 5 as they inhale and exhale. Ask them to focus on the feeling of the air moving in and out of their body until their breathing becomes slow and steady. Stick around to the end of the podcast and I'll do an example for you. Now, another mindful breathing exercise for a child is called the sitting balloon. Ask your child to imagine a balloon in their stomach, and as they breathe in, they slowly fill the balloon with air. So the balloon expands on inhale, and as they exhale, the balloon should slowly deflate, taking their stress and anxiety with it. Now, if your child's having difficulty focusing on their breath, you can start to suggest some things to them, like ask them what color the balloon is. Is it making any funny noises when you exhale? Can you hear it stretch when you inhale? Or you can just ask them to count to 5 as they inhale and exhale. This exercise can really help your child become more mindful of their breathing and find that sense of calm in an anxious moment. So, as we wrap up this podcast, let's review. Mindful breathing can be a great tool for children to use when they're feeling stressed or anxious. It can help them regulate their emotions and reduce their stress levels. Mindful breathing can also help children become more aware of their thoughts and feelings, allowing them to better process their emotions and gain greater control over their reactions. By taking the time to focus on their breathing and become present in the moment, children can learn to respond more calmly and more effectively to stressful situations. And as an added bonus, this can be a great way to calm a child's mind before they go to sleep at night. Now, mindfulness is certainly a part of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, for children. CBT is a common therapeutic approach that we use for children with depression and anxiety. But it has benefits even if your child copes well with difficult emotions. In fact, I use it in my own life every day, and it really helps when the pressures of everyday life start to build up. We'll talk about CBT more in detail next week, but for now, if you want an example of how a mindful, focused deep breathing exercise works, stick around and I'll talk you through the process. Otherwise, from me and the team at Calmsie, we wish you a great week. Okay, cool. So you stuck around. That's great. So I'll take you through a quick breathing exercise that you can learn and do at home with your child. When you see that they're getting stressed, just have them sit comfortably or lie down. But they don't have to. They can just stand tall, straighten their posture, and breathe in and out in a mindful way. I'll take you through the process. It'll last about 1.5 to 2 minutes. And to really set the mood, let's change the music a bit. But you actually don't need music. All you need is lungs and a nose or a mouth. Once you're comfortable, you can close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Just breathe normally for a moment. Gentle breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. So you're breathing in and breathing out. And continue that for a moment, just breathing in and out. And as you focus on each breath, feel your chest rise as you inhale, and then feel your chest fall as your body starts to relax as you exhale. Just let go of any tension as you exhale. So you're going to breathe in and relax as you exhale. Bring your awareness to the movement of your body as you fill your lungs with air. And then feel the stillness after each exhale. It's just that little pause before you breathe back in. If you feel any discomfort in your body, just adjust yourself until that feeling goes away. And bring your focus back to your breathing. You're breathing in and out. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just acknowledge this for what it is. It's just a wandering thought. And when you're ready, bring your attention back to breathing in and breathing out. Now, let's count to 5 as you breathe in, and the same as you breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slowly breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If that's hard, just go for 3 as you breathe in and count 1, 2, 3, and breathe out and count 1, 2, 3. One last focused breath, just breathe in and now breathe out. And when you feel that you're ready, gently open your eyes if they're closed and adjust to the surroundings or adjust to the moment. Remember, when things get stressful or overwhelming, just think to yourself, okay, let's take a pause. I'm going to take a moment to breathe and reconnect with myself. I'm going to reset as I focus on my breathing. Then you can make a calm decision about how you want to carry on. That's it for this week. Take care, and I invite you to join us next week.